Hi everyone, my name is Natalie Ledwell and this is The Inspiration Show. Today on the show, my special guest is the amazing Carol Tuttle. How are you, Carol?
I'm good, Natalie. Thank you.
It's great to see you. Carol and I actually recorded an hour's interview not long ago for our SSA membership, and we were talking about energy profiles. And what was really interesting about what we talked about was how energy profiles actually supersede our personalities in trying to figure out the type of person that we are and how we show up in life, which I thought was like so interesting. I'm like, okay, we have to get you on the Inspiration Show and share this with our audience. So why don't we start initially with just your background, a little bit of your story and how you got into doing this kind of work.
Okay. Well, like most of us, life wasn't working out too well for me. My belief system was not supportive to real happiness. So essentially just, it's been 28 years ago that I started on this path of really trying to find who I was, because I was in such a desperate place, being a mother of young children, really challenged by a lot of emotional and mental health problems. And at the time in the late 80s, it wasn't really even, there wasn't the spirituality movement, the consciousness movement. There was just like, go see a therapist and talk about why your life sucks. So that's what I did for 2.5 years. And I did get information. It was valuable in that I was able to piece a lot of things together. But I can't say that it was healing. It was informative, so I didn't think I was going crazy, needless to say, because when you grow up in a toxic, very abusive environment, you can't see it for what it is. You have to pretend it's something different in order to survive it as a child. And so you grow up with this perception that's not correct about your childhood, and so everything gets reflected on yourself that the problem's you, when it really was the fact that you didn't get your needs met and you were not you were parented in a healthy way. In mine, I had a very abusive background, but a very by all appearances, it looked like, my family was successful and my parents were doing what parents do, and that's make sure your kids are clothed and fed and they go to school and they achieve for good things in life. But on an emotional level, we were a mess. I mean, just the most traumatic, just the living in fear as a child and having to deal with abuse from my father. And he's self-acknowledged that I've made peace with him. I've come a long way, and that's really was the catalyst that brought me to the work of coming into healing, because I wasn't satisfied with traditional methods, and I was fed up in a way that I just thought, really, you have to live compromised your whole life, and I didn't accept that. And so I, again, being a forerunner in the thought, kind of the consciousness movement, I was the forerunner with myself to believe something else was possible.
Yeah.
And to be going out early, I'd say, in this quest.
Because it's I mean, obviously, and there's a couple of things to this story that are interesting. I think, depending on what you believe, that maybe that was before you entered into this kind of incarnation, this was a journey that you chose, and sometimes that journey, and whether that's true or not, but because you went through that journey, this is the reason that you're getting into the work.
Oh, yeah. It was all a beautiful setup, for sure.
Yeah.
It's the perfect storm that has to happen to put us on the path of purpose, because pain's a great instrument to get our attention until we decide we're not going to have to use, that we choose that we become a conscious player to say, I now choose to grow and learn. I now choose to become my own truth. I don't need pain to keep provoking me to make change. Yeah. And yet we still, the masses we settle. We learn to be, seeing The Matrix in the late 90s was just like, whoa, seriously, this is like coming out into a mainstream story, that we kind of run a collective energy, collective consciousness kind of runs humanity, and you have to birth yourself out of it. There was so much symbolism in that movie of waking up from this collective being captive by what was the status quo,
Oh, the Matrix movies are my favorite movies. Because it's the same thing. I had someone ask me online the other day, did I swallow the red pill or the blue pill? I'm like, red pill without hesitation, you know.
Yeah, no, I'm sure it was sort of my story. I'd see it a little different. It wasn't like, I think I choked down the red pill because I wasn't aware enough at the time to go, yes, there's a bigger vision in all of this. You know, I'm talking about 1989, and you're just trying to get, be a decent enough parent to get your breakfast for your kids. Seriously, my motives were not even, there was no way I knew where this was going in 1989. It was seriously just trying to make the next day a little better.
Yeah. And so how did you, I'm not going to say come up with, but how did you get the download, or how did you get this information about this energy profiling?
Well, the thing with energy profiling, it was something given to me to see in the world, I was shown it in a way, and it took me coming to a place of getting clear enough that I could be instructed in a way. You know, I studied Reiki, was my very first modality I studied, and Reiki work is about activating and opening your chakras. And chakra work is like, that's like your that's the mainframe of your personal energy system, or the chakras. And so again, I wasn't aware of what opening your chakras would do to your life, but that was like in 91 when I was starting to do that kind of work with my energy system. It took me there. See, my energy brought me now to my path and what I was meant to do. So I started into energy healing as a private practitioner. Was very successful in that in the late 90s, early 2000s. Still do that work with people. Not a lot of it. It's, I have a premium price, and coaching with me I love to do it because I love helping people shift from where they're at very quickly to what's possible. And energy profiling, it was an opportunity to understand our humanity in a way with a very simple model that speaks to a very, very general quality of humanity, but it's so profusely expressed in who we are. And it's a subset, I call it our human nature, and it's a subset of the whole function of nature. That nature is a perfect system. Nature works in harmony and balance. Nature always strives for just correction and coming back into balance. And we're a subset of that. We have built into who we are the effortless ability to come into harmony and balance. It's our misperceptions about ourselves and each other and what we judge to be a flaw and something that needs to be changed that creates the imbalance on a daily basis. And that's where energy profiling assists us in getting a correct perception of who we are, who other people are, and allows that energy to come back into balance, which allows more joy. When you're in alignment with truth, more joy automatically comes into play. Yeah,
and when you're in joy, you're in flow. You're coherent. Everything is easy. It's the foundation to everything. Even when you have challenges that come up for you in your life, when you are in a dominant state of joy, I'm not saying that you be in joy 24/7 because life is life, but if you are dominantly more joy than anything else, and you find that the challenges that come up for you, they're easier for you to move through. And sometimes you don't even see them as a challenge. You just see them as it's like, oh, this is an interesting little scenario. How are we going to deal with this one?
Well, it was interesting that I was led to a real specific mission that I would have never guessed. If you figure we need to wake up in the different kind of collective experiences we're having, I realized that one of the most defeating, shaming collective experiences a woman has become a participant in is her fashion experience. That women at large across the globe universally have a shame-based perception of their body and appearance. And with myself having that to such an extreme, what led me to first, in the energy profiling, at the same time, simultaneously, I was creating a program called Dressing Your Truth. And I started to study the psychology of fashion and my own story with it. Why do we have this misperception that we're not attractive? Why do women compete when it comes to appearance? Why do women feel intimidated by the fact if someone else looks good? Or why is fashion presented in such a superficial way? Why does no woman feel she even understands how to make herself beautiful, or that she even is? Well, I studied that in depth, and I looked at my own story, which I think replicates most women's experience, that around 12, 13 years old, we join into the belief that I'm less than, I'm not as attractive, I am inadequate. Well, we don't question that. We have parents, mothers that have already gone there, so they're not able to facilitate that shift. We hear things like, well, what's important is internal. Beauty's on the inside. You know, just don't give it that much weight. But you get dressed every day. Women look in the mirror every day, and the common response is, I'm not good enough. And so energy profiling became the base, the foundation to first identify. I teach 4 types in the system, that you have a natural movement that you lead with, that your expression of who you are is inborn in you. And then once you know your type, I have a system that teaches you how to put that movement together as a fashion, as style on your body, so you look amazing. And you can stop the crazy of, the shame-based. I call it, we move a woman from shame-based experience with body and appearance in fashion to truth-based. And it's phenomenal what I see happening to women in the healing, because you can do all this healing, but if you haven't hit that very central experience, and we have a men's program too, they just don't have as much entrenchment in the shame as women do. But still, they want to be attractive and put their best self forward and the correct energy on their body. And I see women really quieting, silencing, being released from this daily practice of kind of starting the day in some level of shame that we've come to accept is the norm. And when you get rid of that practice, when you start to love yourself internally and externally, and you can look in the mirror and say, whoa, I look really good. I feel good about myself. And that's not a superficial offering. It's about the truth of who you are, that what you're seeing resembles your whole self inwardly and outwardly. And that's been one of the most profound healing things I've brought to the planet, is the 2 systems that are they're a couple. They go together. The one you can get a lot of benefit from energy profiling without dressing your truth. But I always say, hey, you're putting clothes on every day. Why not have the advantage? In fact, I would love to introduce you to Dressing Your Truth, Natalie. We do some really high-profile celebrity makeovers of online women that are phenomenal. You look great, and you have a beauty sixth sense, as every woman does. And every woman gets very close to what is the best for them, because they instinctually know. And women will say, and men will say, that's why I've always liked that. I've always been drawn to that, because you do internally have a sense of what's correct for what expresses your true beauty, your true expression of. Everyone is an attractive human being. We just haven't been taught how to bring that forward.
Yeah, and the thing is, when you feel it in the clothes, in the way that you present yourself, it just permeates out into everything. So we are going to actually be seeing each other, because Carol and I are 2 of the speakers on an incredible tour that's happening in the US next year called Be the Change. And we're doing many different cities, and there's going to be a banner on this page that you can click on to be able to go through and find out a whole bunch of information of the dates, with the ones that I'm speaking at, the ones that Carol's is speaking at. So you're going to be talking about some of this stuff on stage?
Yeah, my message is a simple change that will change your life. And that is understanding your true nature is profoundly, lastingly life-changing, and how to continue that path, because a lot of my community is in this practice. They understand their energy type and how to continue to, in that, allow the change that wants to happen for you, that allows more harmony, more prosperity, more of what we're designed for. I've been teaching that from my very first book, Remembering Wholeness, that we're created for joy. That's our familiar state. We wouldn't feel so at odds if in lower vibrational states we wouldn't feel as much, we would feel fulfilled if that was correct. If beliefs like I'm worthless, I'm not good enough, nobody's there for me, I'm not attractive, if that was all true, we would have a fulfilled state of being. We would go, it's good to know who I am and I'm fulfilled. The fact that we're at odds with it and we keep seeking to be free of it is recognizing our truth is that we purely are designed to have affluence, joy, prosperity. We just keep canceling it out. So I'm going to teach people how to stop canceling it out.
Awesome. Well, I can't wait to play with you and travel with you and to you know, to reach the thousands of people that we'll be reaching. So if you want to contact Carol directly, you can actually go to her website, which is caroltuttle.com, which you can actually see here on the video. And if you click on the banner, you can go through to the Be the Change page, so you can see when we're speaking, what cities we're going to be in, and I think we've got a lot of cities covered.
Do you know? Yeah, I'm in a bunch, so
yeah, it's going to be fantastic. So
I wanted to give your listeners real quick a free offer too. If they go to dressingyourtruth.com/free course, that's the free course to learn about the 4 types.
Great. So what is it? dressingyourtruth.com
/free course.
Free course. Okay, guys, make sure you go there as well. So thanks again, Carol. It's been amazing talking to you today.
Thank you, Natalie.
I'm looking forward to hanging out with you more.
I know, great fun.
So, guys, I encourage you to share this video, get the word out, and you can do that by clicking the Facebook and the Twitter share buttons on this page. Also, make sure that you click on those banners to go through to find out about Be the Change, and leave your email in the box on the page if you haven't done so already, so I can send you the Manifesting with a Masters video e-course. So until next time, remember to live large, choose courageously, and love without limits. We'll see you soon.